Hey guys, this is Tara Macklem hopping in here to talk to you guys a little bit about fatigue versus being tired. And fatigue is one of the common symptoms that tends to pop up from time to time in PCOS women. So I thought this was an interesting subject because they are actually two different things. And I have a few notes here in front of me that I'm going to kind of reference to from time to time to make sure I don't miss something. But it is a common thing that we talk about. You'll see women in PCOS groups talk about just how drained and fatigued that they are. And, that can really get kind of misconstrued with being tired, due to lack of sleep. And while some fatigue can come from lack of sleep, as I'll discuss, it is not always the end all be all cause of the problem. So, being fatigued is more about overall energy. If you're a PCOS woman, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Or if you're someone who struggles with adrenal fatigue or things like that, other adrenal issues, then fatigue is probably a big symptom for you. So this is overall energy. You are just super lethargic all day long. Doesn't matter how much you sleep, how little you sleep, the fatigue is exactly the same. So there's no change no matter how much you try to address your sleep habits. You might try like a sleeping aid to make sure that you're actually falling asleep and staying asleep, and that amount of sleep doesn't change your fatigue level during the day. So that's one thing where fatigue's a little different. Where if you're tired, you're just sleepy. This is someone who they can go right to sleep. They could probably even catch up on some of that sleep, get a bigger, deeper rest, more restful sleep the next night. This is someone who's they're going to go right to sleep. Their body is willing and ready to go to sleep. And they can usually pinpoint where exactly they went wrong that created the being tired or the sleepiness. So whether they stayed up late the night before or got up super early the morning before, they can usually pinpoint the problem. So that's being tired or being sleepy. Fatigue, again, this is something that doesn't always go away with you going and trying to get better sleep, so to say. In fact, sometimes with chronic fatigue, insomnia comes into play. So your mind is just racing. You're constantly always thinking about something. You're tossing and turning at night. You're probably not even getting a good restful sleep when you're fatigued. But even if you do, that doesn't seem to solve the problem. You're going to feel like you are being weighed down and dragging like tons of bricks behind you throughout the day. Like it's just, you're very sluggish and slow moving, and you really have to put a lot of effort into getting about your day. That's fatigue. And again, with a good night of 8 hours sleep, you might still have symptoms of being drowsy, things that we would describe as like sleepiness. You're going to probably still have some of those symptoms. That's more fatigue. So, and looking at fatigue, there's a lot of different things that could play a role in that. Your adrenal health could be a big piece to that process, and that's something where you have to kind of sit down and chat with your doctor. Vitamin B12 levels can play a huge role in that. That was something that really was a trigger for me. And so I did some lab work and started supplementing that into my life, and that's made a big impact for me. You might need to look at foods. If there's foods that are inflammatory for you, and this is not everyone, but there are certain foods out there that if you're eating a lot of them on a regular basis and your body doesn't really like it, fatigue is one of the ways that it communicates that information with you. So doing a good elimination protocol might help lead you down that path. I know that was another thing for me that was a trigger when I eliminated a certain piece of food category that I was eating a lot of. That seemed to help kind of get me started on working on my fatigue and improving that. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of different things. You'll just have to dig deep, have a chat with your physician. Do me a favor though, don't mask it. Find the causality. Try to work on digging deeper and finding the solution to the fatigue, because when you mask it and just pop things to try to help give you energy or whatever, what have you, they will eventually fail, and you'll just need more and more of it. The medication won't necessarily help solve the problem. Use them for the short term if that's what you need to do to get by, but do some digging. Look for the causality. Look for if it's a struggle. My language today, a struggling adrenal system, then that's something you need to look at. Look at your stress management. Maybe it's even some habits that you have going on in your room that before bed, some of that bedtime stuff can play a role in that as well, your bedtime routine. You can have your body overstimulated and therefore creating fatigue. Also, cleaning up my bedtime routine has been a huge one for me, and I can't believe I almost forgot that earlier. So things to keep in mind. Stay tuned. I'm actually creating something for you guys that maybe need a little help with some getting to bed and having some more restful sleep. That might also help being a contributing factor to your fatigue. So be looking out for that here soon. I'm excited to share that with you guys coming up. And if you guys are finding these videos helpful, make sure you guys are clicking the subscribe above and the bell so that way you get alerted every time a new video pops up. Otherwise, thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.